Okay, so what is the name of this organization?
The organization that I'm a volunteer with is the Railway Museum of San Angelo.
How about you give us your name and today's date?
All right, Linda Thorsen Bond, Thorsen Bond, and today's date is November the 13th.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes, I believe today is the 13th. What are some of the upcoming events you have?
We do several events every year. November 27th will be Santa's Santa Fe Station, when Santa comes to San Angelo riding in on a Texas Pacifico locomotive. And the kids get to see him, they get to meet him and talk to him. We'll have tours that day, we'll also have vendors. We'll probably have a pop-up sale of some of the things that we don't need and don't use at the Railway Museum. And food, a fun, exciting event. We also have in May, we started this last year with Railway Days. And Railway Days is just a great opportunity to come and have fun at the Railway Museum, to meet the historic characters who make it come alive, to meet vendors from San Angelo, and just find out more about the history and the present of railway museums today.
How did you get into this?
You know, a friend of mine, Susana Valenzuela, is the president of the board, and she asked if I would come and volunteer. And she knew that one of my favorite things is getting people into costumes. And there's such a great opportunity when you have a railway depot that's been here since 1910. You have all the costumes from 1910 on, and so do I. So I really became involved in creating living history. And living history means you take people back in time. You're not, you're not today telling them about it. You go back at that time and you invite them in as if you were in that date.
What are your favorite parts of I don't know if you just the station in general, or just what are your favorite parts of the whole shebang?
Well, this is a wonderful building. It was a fantastic two-story building when it was built in 1910, and it's still fantastic today. It's as beautiful as it was. It's as exciting to people to step back into it and see that it's perfectly preserved. And it's an example of how volunteers saved it. In 1996, people worked together and saved this from actually crumbling and being a ruin. One of the things that matters a lot to me is preserving history and reaching out to those buildings that are going to go away if we don't intercede, and helping save them. That's something I love to do.
Okay, why don't you tell me a little bit about your crew that works with you?
Everyone here is a volunteer, and the board of directors meets once a month and makes important decisions like, how do we pay to have the elevator inspected? What do we need to do about the air conditioning? And then each of us sort of has another area that we're most interested in. For example, I'm most interested in living history. Rocio Manciabas is very, very interested in preserving things from a museum standpoint. Susana Valenzuela loves to create opportunities for people to visit, partly because of her work at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, but she also has a heart for that. Monica Ramos has to come up all the time and open the doors to let volunteers and people in and workers. She works with Downtown San Angelo, Inc., and also cares about this entire area. We're in a cultural area here, and all of us feel very strongly that part of what we must do is help preserve the historic entities in San Angelo. Tammy Virden is with us, and she is so involved in the Texas Fort Trail, and she brings a whole different aspect in. And then there's Roger, and Roger has been involved with trains since he began working, and still reaches out to Texas Pacifico and other organizations for us.
What would you say is your favorite historical tidbit about the station, or San Angelo in general?
Let me think. You know, one of the things that I like a lot is that in the early days of the railroad, it was so important to every town. And in 1910, there were some people who actually gave money to bring the train here. Some of them, you hear the name Mertz, and that's Mertzen. You find the names that you see throughout the Railway Museum. They're the names of people who are significant to San Angelo. They're the people who came here and had an impact, and they still have an impact today.
How was Scare Station?
Scare Station was absolutely incredible. We had over 20 volunteers who threw their hearts into it, who worked for 45 days putting this together. Not just the days they performed, but rehearsal, learning about what to do, helping put up fog machines, lights. We absolutely had an incredible turnout that way. And in addition to that, we had 1,300 people who came through the Railway Museum who might never have been here before. And they may have seen it in the dark, but now they know where it is. So we're very, very excited about that and really proud of the volunteers who put their hearts and souls into scaring the socks off of everybody.
What would you say is your favorite event?
I was absolutely thrilled with Scare Station. It was our first time to do it. I had no idea. I also didn't realize that scare events are such a big deal throughout the United States, but it certainly was here. And to have so many people come and so many people involved, it was thrilling.
I heard you even made it into the top 13 scariest haunted houses in America.
You know, Photos Travel, which is huge, mentioned San Angelo's Scare Station as one of the top 13 events in the United States. I mean, that is just unprecedented. We couldn't believe it. We were thrilled. We don't even know how they knew about us, but it certainly was nice.
Especially considering that we'd only been open for 3 or 4 days when they told us about that.
I know it. You know, it may have had something to do with the fact that the producer and director and writer was Thorsen Bond, and he's a national entity, and he travels all over the world performing and doing things like this. So maybe somehow they found out what he was doing and figured it must be good.
I like that. What is your favorite room or exhibit here at the station?
Well, I love the main hall, and one thing I love about it is the fact that it has a freight scale in the floor. And I love to, when I give tours, get people, their whole family, to come in and stand on the freight scale and to weigh them by moving that little weight back and forth and to tell them what it would have cost to ship them as freight.
Nice. When did the station stop operating as a train station?
You know, I believe it was 1974, but I'm not sure about that. So I think it lay fallow, as they say, for about 20 years, but I would have to check that exact date.
Okay.
You know, I've just been here about a year, so I don't know everything.
Hey, that's a hell of a lot more than I know. What are the hours of operation and pricing for the train station?
We are open every Saturday from 10 to 4. It costs $3 to $5 to come in. There's a special discount for military people. We do know that we have been listed this year as #1 on the Goodfellow list of things to do in San Angelo. So we get a lot of people from Goodfellow coming in, and we also get a lot of volunteers from Goodfellow, and we're really happy about that. In the future, we would like to expand our hours to 3 days a week. We get so many calls from schools and organizations wanting to come in and do tours, and they can't come on Saturdays. So we'd like to expand it a little more, but that's our future plan.
Let's see. Would you like to say anything about being an author?
I think I'll sit down.
Okay.
One of the things that I've been lucky enough to do since I came to San Angelo almost 3 years ago was I was commissioned by Abilene Christian Press, and they are with Abilene Christian University. And they asked me to write a book called San Angelo A to Z. I worked with the San Angelo Area Foundation, which actually financed the project. And I sat down with their board and we picked the things that we would use to illustrate A to Z. And goodness, we had some exciting things. Because of their input as a board and their insight, we probably picked things that weren't just everyday known things. For example, the letter J was illustrated by the Jumano tribe, which was very instrumental in letting us know the story of the Lady in Blue. And now there's a big sculpture and a movie out about her. The Jumano tribe is not something I thought of when I thought of Jay. So I feel really lucky to have worked with smart people who knew and cared about the city. I've had other books. One of my other books is called Saving the Oldest Town in Texas, and it's a historical novel set in East Texas. And in addition, I've written academic books because I worked as I still work as a professor at a university in East Texas.
Nice. Do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to impart to anybody watching?
One of the main things I would say is sometimes people forget to go out and be a tourist in their own town. Go explore the things that are available to you. If you have not gone to Fort Concho, shame on you. Get out there and go. Come to the Railway Museum. Let us show you what's here. I know you'd be surprised. I think you would be thrilled and astonished to learn how much there is in San Angelo. You've got to go find it. It's not going to come to your doorstep. So I say, get out and enjoy all there is here and discover San Angelo.